here, online bearded tent walkthrough dude from Outback Tour. Now, today is an exciting day because we have a new product. This, to the untrained eye, may look like our Plus tent, but it's a whole lot spicier than that. This is the X Plus rooftop tent. This is the original X tent, the one that everyone's been loving for the past couple of years. And what we've done, we've combined the Plus tent with the X. So with the X tent, we have the 5cm memory foam mattress, very comfortable, but with the higher base, we can do the 75mm memory foam mattress, even comfier. This one here, we could always fit our blankets in it, but pillows were a bit tight. With the X Plus, we can get all our pillows and blankets in it and shut it. And that's proper pillows, not your scam pillows that some people sell with tents, like proper home pillows that you're gonna be taking camping. It's got the thicker canvas. We'll run through that in a sec and we'll do a bit of a comparison and a bit of canvas education about what goes into these tents. Obviously, we aren't the cheapest on the market and we never will be, but hopefully from all these videos you can see the amount of effort and all the quality of materials that goes into these tents, and that will reflect the price tag and why it is worth it to buy one of our tents. The tent, straight out of the box, comes with the 230-watt solar panel if it's going on the 1.4, and then the 200-watt panel if it's going on the 1.2. The reason there's a different wattage is because the width is different. So the 1.2 is a little bit narrower, so you lose about 30 watts. It's not much really. You can double the solar panel up if you want. We do have brackets for that. These are Roam Gear panels, so they are actually rated to 230. You will see 230. It's not stick it at 230, you know, it's this sun, that sun, like making excuses. You will get 230 or 200. Jared from Roam's put a lot of effort into these, 10-year warranty, and that's why we partner with the best. On the X Plus, we have our awning brackets. These are the exact same ones as the Plus tent because this actually shares the same base. There's two different ways to mount an awning. I won't go into too much detail. We have filmed an entire video of how to mount an awning independently. It is our opinion that if you can mount an awning independently, it will be the superior way to do it. And the way I can explain that really quickly is if you're driving down a track, you hit the side of your awning on a tree or something, you would rather it be disconnected and independent to your tent as opposed to attached to it. If you did ever wreck the side of the tent, it's okay. We can order a new base in and it's about an hour-and-a-half job. We can change it all over for you. If you're interstate, you can send it back to us. We can fix it and that's all ready to go. Doesn't happen often, but it's good to know that if you ever did break something, then we can offer parts and assistance in how to fix it. If you buy our awning, we'll give you and equip you with 3 of these awning brackets. So no matter if you buy our awning, you'll be given the option with independent mounting brackets, and you'll be given the option with these tent brackets. Some instances you can't mount independently, like on our personal canopies, the tops of our canopies taper in and we've got about 150mm overhang. It's physically impossible to mount our awning independently. So we've been running these for about 3 years. We've never had an issue. One thing we've noticed in 3 years is your awning doesn't magically delete itself off the side of off your car. So trust me, it doesn't. So just take care of it, rope it down and look out when you're on the tracks. Mounting the awning, 3 of these guys. If you don't have our awning, these are quite universal. Reach out, we'll get you a measurement on what centers are here. They do work with a wide range of awnings. If it doesn't work, you can put an adapter plate on here, get some flat bar, sit it against there and redo your center lines. That's easy enough. So 3 of these guys. What we recommend is putting 1 awning bracket right at the back of the tent, about there. It's no real measurement. I'm about 50mm off that join there. The next bracket will be approximately, what's that, about 350 away, 350mm away. And then the last bracket we'll put at the front of the tent. When we put the awning on the side of the tent, this latch here, we can't use it anymore. So we've got latches all over the tent. When the awning's mounted here, obviously this is going to hit the side of the awning, so this latch needs to go. That's fine. Like technically the tent only needs latches on the ends. Like our X tents for the past 3 years have only had 2 latches at the front, 2 at the back. But for the pluses, we know everyone's going to push the limits on the bedding a little bit, so we have equipped it with the side latch. As I said, not totally necessary, which is why we can remove it, but you know, always good to have if you can use it. If you do the independent awning brackets, you could mount the awning a bit further off and still get access to it. But all in all, not a big deal. If you have to remove it, and if you do mount the awning to the tent, you will need to remove it. I think that's all there is to mention on mounting awnings to tent. Just take it easy because your awning's mounted to it, obviously. You get 3 of these, all the bracketry required. I'll throw these in actually, you can have a bit of a look how these work. These guys just push into the side of the tent. Like that, you might have to give them a little tap with a screwdriver, and then one underneath as well. That one goes underneath. And then we've got our washer and spring washer. We put spring washer on the outside and then washer. Drop that through. Oh, sorry, other way. And then that's how we're going to mount that against the tent. Put that against the tent, tighten it up, and then also put that bolt underneath as well. That's the one that's under there. So bolt all that up, and that'll be how you bolt these to the tent. Roof racks on the X Plus, same as the X tent and the Plus tent. They are an extruded rail with 2 little keyways in here. The bolts you need to use in here, you can get an M8 bolt with a 13mm head and slide them in. Sometimes, depending on where you buy the 13mm bolt from, they might have too fat of a head. It's within like a half a mil, like it's nothing. You can shave them down a bit and get the bolt head in. Otherwise, these little channel nuts that come with, I'll put that over the screen, that come with the tent, they slide in there nicely. You should have a couple extra ones of those when you open everything and look at all your bolts. Now these can go at 2 separate heights. When they come on the tent, they're already on the lowest settings, so we can pack them all up in the box and give you as minimal install time as possible. These can move up to the top slot over there. We'll swing the camera around in a second, check out our Plus tent where we've made them higher. The solar panel brackets, they're already attached to the tent, and that'll be the correct height. We'll come over here quickly to our Plus tent. Given it's the same shell, it'll make an easy demonstration. On this one here, we've moved the roof racks up to the top slot, and the advantage of that is we can put something over the top of the solar panel and it not impede. These racks can also go on top, so if you needed even more height, if you had like a surfboard that dipped in the middle or something like that, you could put that on top and it would fully go over the top. Advantage of being on a extrusion is that you can put one of these racks on either side of the panel. If you have your boards or something like that, you've got to carry gazebo swags or building materials, you're a plumber or something, you've got to put pipe on. You can put one on either side and then go over the top of the panel and not touch. All your bolts are inside the tent. So ladder, bolts, everything inside the tent. When you receive the tent, you'll have a solar panel packed separately. Everything else is in here. In order to get these solar panel brackets on, I will lift this up, pull everything out, show you what's included. We'll bolt this panel on and we should be ready to rock and roll for the full walkthrough of inside the tent. Inside the ladder bag inside the tent, you've got all your fixings. These are the little end caps that go inside the mounting rails. When we go over how to mount the tent, we'll work out what they're all for. This is your bag of bolts for the solar panel. This is your riser plates. Very important tip. Do not use these bolts for your solar panel. They're in separate bags for a reason. These are for the mounting plates. I say that because these are a 16mm bolt. If you put them in there, you will break the panel. Please, just separate. We don't need to mix them all up. So these are a 12mm bolt. These are for the solar panel. If you put a 16mm bolt in there, you're going to tighten it against the panel and it'll shatter. So let's not do that, team. Now, I will grab my Allen key. We'll pull these logo solar panel brackets off the side. These all have a spring washer. They come off nice and easy. So 1, 2, 3, pre-installed. Get someone to help hold it if you got someone, but we'll make do, just me. Put some weight against it so we don't lose it. We'll take both of these off 2 sides. We'll flip the panel over and get that all bolted up. And then just to repeat again, these are the ones with the nylocks, they're for the solar panel. These ones here, this is just our little present to you. These nuts and bolts are a bit hard to get, like Bunnings and Hardwares and that, so we just gave you an extra set of bolts, and these will be good if you want to use them for your roof racks or you want to mount a couple of work lights or something on the side of the tent. It's a specific extrusion, so these just come as a bit of an extra. Cool, so we'll move all this, flip the panel, get it bolted up, and then we'll be sweet to open the tent up. Bolting the panel up is very easy. We flip the panel over. We've got some protectant under there just so we don't scratch the top of the tent. This is our stainless steel folded bracket, and we've got our nylock and 12mm bolt. All we need to do here, it is a slotted hole. All we need to do is pop this over here, get that through, and then tighten that up. The only two tools you'll need is a 13mm spanner and an Allen key. There is an Allen key with the tent already. So we get that buttoned up, it won't go all the way. This part here does need a tape measure. A wise man once told me measure twice, cut once. So measure twice, fit once in this instance. The width of the tent is 1455. The 1.2 plus, check it, it'll be around 1330. So we want to make sure the bottom of our solar bracket is at 1455. If it's not bent totally on 90 degrees, say we're at 88, that's all good. That's why I'm measuring the bottom of the bracket. That's the part where we need it to sit snug on the tent. And if this happened to be 1 degree out, it would pull in with the bolts. So chuck that tape on there, make sure we've got 1455, same as the tent. And we'll use our 13mm and our Allen key, button that all up, and then flip it over, bolt them down. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's open this up. Oh, I hope you're excited as I am. It looks bloody good. So first things first, bungee cord comes down. That guy there helps it all stay tucked in on the way down. Next, we've got our pole at the front. Now that pole, very easy. That just comes forward. Locks into place, 2 clicks. So, yep, that's it, locked in. And then now we'll chuck the camera inside and I'll show you this front bar, how that works. Super simple, we're just using like hardly any pressure. We've got this pole locked in all the way. When you lock this pole in, you want this telescopic other section here to be all the way down. This is a telescopic pole, so when we're locking it in, we want to make sure this is all the way down. Then, not using much pressure at all, we just push this all the way up, like that, nice and taut. We don't want to be swinging off it, we might wreck something, but that's all up like that, and then we lock it off, and that is that front pole assembly. So normally I'll go up the rooftop ladder, swing around, put my legs over the edge like this, and then pop that section up like that. Super simple. The canvas on our Plus tents is our 380 GSM poly cotton blend. There's a bit of secret sauce involved with that one. What makes this one so special compared to all the other tents out there is both sides of this canvas. So you can tell it's a really thick, like swag canvas. It doesn't scrunch up like some of the rooftop canvas, but there's no PU coating on the inside. So that's a polyurethane coating. When you do a thinner canvas, you do need a polyurethane coating. This is a 380 GSM, so it has absolutely no coating. And why that is so important is you don't get anywhere near the condensation inside. The polyurethane acts as a bit of a moisture barrier, so there are benefits. It's completely blackout. You can use a microfiber, you can wipe it down in the morning, but it's not as breathable as the 380 GSM stuff. This is why we put it in our Plus tent. It's more expensive to do, but it's a more premium tent. It's a proper 380, so 380 grams per meter. The other stuff that tents can be made out of, we would never make a tent out of this, which is an Oxford canvas. An Oxford canvas won't have any ripstop capabilities in it. Like, still a good canvas, but good for accessory bags, chairs, and things like that. So we definitely don't want to be making the body of the tents out of any canvas like that. Just perfect for ladder bags, accessories, and that. All the Plus tents get the most premium canvas of the range. The other canvas we use on the other tents, our price range starts from $31.90 all the way to $44.90 to keep these ones a bit more competitive. We've still got the ripstop squares, very Important, you have a tent with ripstop squares. I just wouldn't buy a tent without ripstop squares. If you ever have something happen to it, you're gonna know that you don't have to do the whole canvas replacement. You can just patch it. This is the stuff with the poly coating on the inside. So if we get the camera up here, you'll see that's got the poly coating. So still a really good canvas, which is what we use on the other tents. We've just gone the extra level on the Plus range by having no polyurethane coating. And it, yeah, works really well in summer, breathes really well. Winter, you're not going to get next to anywhere near the condensation as a regular rooftop, so good stuff. Setting your rainfly up, your poles will be in this fancy bag, which you store inside the tent. 4 of these poles, they need to go into the first slot, then the second slot. We will put a close-up of that on the screen, and then into the eyelet. We personally like to put the bottom in first and then flex it up to the top. You can do it 1 or 2 ways. I'll demonstrate the other way. So if you're standing on the ground and you can't reach the rainfly, you can always hook it there. And then it just is a little bit more effort to hook it like this way, but it is still easy enough. We find that it's easier to do it from the bottom up, but it really doesn't matter. So that's a demonstration of both ways. This is our fancy new pull down tab. Now we have just finished this tent off with everything we could throw at it. We've embroidered our logo in the strap here. Now that'll get copied by everyone else in the industry in 6 months, but as per always, you've seen it here first. Moving on to the inside of the tent. We've put the same mattress as the Plus tent in here. Now we've had glowing reviews. We've usually used to do a high density foam mattress, but for the Plus series and the 1.5, we put a memory foam in. Now, it is a bit tougher when you first push on it, but being like a rebound foam that always finds its way back to where it was, it is super comfy. You don't feel your hips or your shoulders on the side when you're laying in it. From all the people we've surveyed about how they found their Pluses, I think about 95% of people haven't had to put extra padding on. You can, of course, do a 25mm topper if you want, because we've got heaps of room in here for the pillows and everything. But from everyone, we've real world reviews, and people have been traveling on the road for close to 2 years now in their Plus tents. And I'd say about 95% of people have just left it stock how it is. I would recommend going out, using it, testing it. And then if you do need more padding, then you could get like a 25 eggshell topper, or there's like heaps of different solutions these days, but 75mm, if you start putting 80 or 100mm in, it's like you can do it, but what happens is the mattress ends up being higher than the base, and when you go to tuck the canvas in with a higher mattress, you're fighting it because you're trying to push this canvas against the side of the mattress, and then it just wants to keep falling back out. So keeping it at the same level as the base, it makes packing it up so easy. It truly is just 2 hits, 2 slaps on the end, and the whole thing packs in. The bedding, we normally put the pillows, the nice thick pillows, in the middle, lengthways. You can put them sideways, but I think it gives the tent the best chance of sealing when they're lengthways inside there. You can get 2 pillows in there, and then a big thick sleeping bag like our canvas one. It's a real thick sleeping bag, awesome stuff. That fits in there with two pillows. The lighting system in here, I'll just move this cord out the way. This cord just helps pull the canvas away from that X hinge on the way down. Although not totally necessary, it all helps, right? So don't be too stressed if you don't use that one. We don't really use them all the time, but we just, put it all in there for you, and you can choose your own adventure, essentially. Now, the lighting in here, same as the Plus tent, it's all changeable and dimmable. So we can go from white to amber, dim it all the way down, brighten it all the way back up. Been instructed by camera guy Michael that I need to have it on the white setting to film, so we'll leave it on white. Now, I've just plugged this into a power bank for now because we don't have a 12-volt setup in the showroom. Maybe we'll work on it eventually, but this guy here is just from Officeworks. It's about 60 bucks. It'll power your lights for about 8 hours. They draw bugger all. All the lights, they go around the perimeter, and they sit in a extrusion, so they're not glued on or anything cheap like that. It's a proper extrusion they sit in. They're all linked on the corners, so they all link around, and the reason they link is because if one side goes, we just say, hey, which one is it? And we'll post it out, and you can replace it yourself. So everything in the tent is replaceable, the lights, everything like that. The power, we've got the 2 USB ports, then we've got another USB with USB-C, then we've got cigarette socket, and that's all wired in to the Anderson plug on the bottom. You don't have to do any of that. There is a fuse underneath it. It's a 10 amp fuse. So if you ever have any electrical thick gremlins happening, that, you know, it's your first place to check. That's all screwed to the bottom, so you just need a Phillips head, very easily and accessible. This window down here, now the advantage of all the X-tents and why I believe they're taking over the market is because you get to take up the same footprint as a normal tent. So we're still, you know, 1450 by 2150. We're not any more footprint on the car, but you get 30% more room inside. And the way that works is because we have this X hinge on the outside, the tent actually lifts up all the way here. And the advantage of that is if you come in at night, you can put your pillows down here. You don't have to turn around in the middle of it. So you don't have to get in, turn around and, you know, kick your bloody partner in the head as much as you might actually want to do that. But yeah, you get my point. Same as if you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you just head down there, crawl out the back. You don't have to do the whole, you know, turn around and jump out the back. We've also got that front pole that we ran through before. That a normal rooftop tent sort of finishes within this line like that. Having that extra pole just gives you a whole nother section, a whole nother window to get more headspace, and it does feel roomier. We've got the windows here as well. In combination with the window down there, when you really think about it, there's not a whole, when you do fully open this thing up, there's not a whole lot of canvas left. Like, there is windows everywhere. So you're doing those trips and you're up north or, you know, somewhere hot. We notice it when we do the trade shows. We're setting these things up and it can be steamy out in the sun. But having those windows open, those ones there, when we go camping on the beach in that summer, especially being like Queensland, having the most amount of ventilation is key. Like, it is awesome. You get a crazy amount of cross breeze the whole way through. These double up as like a window that, you know, someone can pass you a beer through as well. So you got a little, they do open all the way. And then the main reason though they actually open all the way is so when you do roll that canvas down on the outside, if it is raining, you can roll that canvas down from in here. You don't have to stick your head out the door in the rain to try and close that. So try and think of everything. The canvas in here, it doesn't have the PU coating. We discussed that, advantages of not having it. But even though we don't have it, it's pretty well pitch black in here. So you've had a huge night, you know how it is. You can wake up, sleep in, and you're not getting absolutely violated by the sun in some like, yeah, bloody green or beige tent, just getting absolutely smoked by it up at 5 a.m, you know how it is. So black canvas works well, keeps you cool, it's breathable, 380 GSM thick. Now fans in the rooftop, the reason we don't include fans is because a good fan is actually a couple $100, between $150 and $200. You can get these like cheap ones that some people include, they're just knickknacks in our opinion. We'd rather you go and buy a proper one like a Sirocco or something, like invest the money and get a proper fan. To mount the Siroccos, this is a 20mm honeycomb insulated panel. So if you use a 15mm button head, if you're unsure about which one, I've got a photo of it, just shoot us a message, I'll send it back to you from Bunnings. It's a screw, 15mm, you bolt the base plate wherever you want, and then you can wire it. There'll be enough room to close it in here as long as it's not landing on a pillow or a blanket. Otherwise, you can get like fans with clips on them, and you can clip them on the poles, and then you can run them all back to your 12 volt setup. So fans, can mount them if you want, reach out if you're unsure, but in our opinion, I'll just go and buy a proper fan from a proper shop and don't get caught up in the knickknacks. To demonstrate just how thick it is, I'll show you just like rolling up this, for instance. Like normal roof tent material, you can sort of just scrunch up, but this stuff here, like, it is proper. Like, for me to actually roll this, I've got to put some force into it, like a good bloody finger workout. It is proper, like, proper thick stuff. Like, I grew up in a canvas tent where you go camping, it doesn't have a fly over the top. We did the cape in it heaps, and it was a great tent, and this is the sort of canvas that we used to always camp in. It's not the stuff where it's thin and you got to throw another fly over the tent. It was just like, this is a canvas tent. You set it up, it gets wet, it lasts for freaking 20 years. Like, it's good stuff, and it's hard to make rooftops out of this sort of stuff, and it took a lot of research. That's why we just put a lot of effort into it, and just wanted to go back to something that I personally grew up in, and just bringing that touch to our tents has been awesome, and we're really proud of it, and it looks great. Pockets on the inside, so plenty of internal pockets. So you can demonstrate with this power bank here, put that guy in there, whatever you want, keys, wallet, phone, anything like that. iPad pocket up top, so you can watch your Netflix. As always, we've made sure our tent has a 100% replaceable canvas on the inside. That just zips out. So if you ever happen to pack it up wet, or something, it got damaged, you ripped it or something, you'd be pretty tough going to rip it. It's like pretty bloody thick. But things do happen, sometimes emergencies happen and you could wreck something. So all the tents, all Outback Tour products, you can replace the entire canvas. It'll probably take you with 2 people about an hour and a half. I've got a full video on that, how to do it. But it's just good to know you're spending a fair bit of money that you can actually replace components of the tent. You don't want to be left high and dry or have to start drilling things if something ever happens to the canvas. It's good to know everything is replaceable. The bottom of that canvas around the side extrusion, it locks in on a sail track. So once you unzip that, it pretty much, you do a 360 with it, and it eventually pops out the corner, and then until the whole canvas is fed out. But like I said, we have a video on that, and it's just really good to know that everything is replaceable. Struts are replaceable as well. They're stability struts, again, nothing but the best struts. This is all on a side extrusion. Now, we don't rivet any of these to the base. People carry on about internal gas strut, external gas strut. Like, in our opinion, external gas strut is king. If you have an external gas strut, it can do over 8,000 revolutions tested without ever having a problem. So you don't need to tuck them away on the inside. You do want them to be replaceable. The other way to do it is you put them on the base, but if you ever had a problem, you'd have to get a drill in here, drill in there. You're trying to do that on the road. It's not ideal. With our gas struts, it's a flat blade screwdriver on the top and bottom on that little knuckle. That pops out, we send you a new one. You can clip it straight on. It's very minimal tools, very easy. The X-hinge, also replaceable. This section is mounted through the base with some channel nuts underneath. They're the same channel nuts we showed before. And then there's another extrusion on the inside. Part of the reason why this tent took so long to come out, because it was actually super difficult to do this side extrusion, to have the X-hinge in a slide extrusion as well, and then do the lights. So that all had to be formed in one die, but we've got all the dies now, so that's why it did take a bit longer to get this model out. But a lot of late nights, a lot of checking and going over, a lot of revisions, and we're sweet, we're happy, we're dialed, it's awesome, tested. But yeah, double plated, super strong. They're about 6 kilos a piece, so you know they're not going anywhere. A few people early days are a bit skeptical, oh, how does it hold up, this, that, but we've done the volume, guys. We've got a lot of tents out there, and there's no problems. They are sweet. If there ever was anything that happened to it, I know exactly how to change it. I can pull this whole tent apart, so can the team. They're all trained. Every single component, we can build this tent from scratch, replace it, change it, send you a video how to do it, adjust things. So yeah, keep in mind that is all sweet. Okay, now running your Roam Gear panel, on the back of the panel is 2 1-meter leads, and they have MC4 connectors. We'll throw that up on the screen so you can see what they are. They're not Anderson, because Roam Gear, he's very official and diligent. He makes sure he uses MC4s. They're a rubber O-ring connection, which means they're fully waterproof and nothing but the best for the Roam Gear panel. The way we run this on the X formation, I've seen online you can get like an old telephone cord 12-volt cable, so you can use those and put them there. Or what we sort of do is we put a P-clamp, like on our Z-tent, and we just sort of put it on this front part of the hinge, and we leave a little bit of a coil and go to there. Now, do not drill it through your tent. Honestly, like, there's no need to be drilling holes through tents and trying to go back through the floor. Like, if you just leave a little cable, it's sweet, it looks good, it's tidy. For the 12-volt panel, there's an Anderson plug pre-wired to the base, which is already installed. This needs to be run independent to the solar panel. I was on a Facebook rooftop page the other day, and some bloke bloody plugged this. He cut the MC4 connectors off and plugged it back into the panel, into the tent. Don't do that. It needs to be run completely independent. This is unregulated power, so it needs to go back to a solar controller, DC-DC, and we're changing over 20 volts back down to 12. So if you're unsure about that, consult an auto electrician or reach out to us. And then you need to run a 12 volt cable from the base of the tent down to your power source. Now, even though we've got a 10 amp fuse underneath the box inside, we recommend, like good auto electrical practice, is fuse at your power source. So do another like inline blade fuse, 10 amp down at the power source, and then size your cable accordingly. And that should get you covered for power. Outside of the tent, so these shoe bags, you get 2 shoe bags with all of our tents. They normally just stay inside the tent. You can sort of store them wherever, but they're on a sail track. They can go either at the back of the tent, they can go at the sides of the tent. They've got clips on them, and they can go in the middle as well. So you can literally put these anywhere around the tent that you want. They're all on buckles. So 2 buckles, and we've got 3 pockets. So 1 mesh pocket at the front, then a solid pocket and a shoe bag. If you climb in the ladder at night, you normally got grass all over your shoes and whatnot, or sand or whatever. So being able to put your shoes somewhere is great. You don't end up like back in the early days before we had these, we sort of used to just sort of sit them on the edge, but it rained at night, or you go to get out at night, one falls on the ground, and it's just like, oh man, like just having a shoe bag works so well. They're made out of PVC, same PVC that we use on the awning bag, so we know it's tough. It probably doesn't need to be that tough, but better to go a bit more than less. It's got the midgie mesh on the bottom, so you put your wet shoes in there, they will drain out as well. So I thought about that as well. Now the ladder, this is the same sort of ladder we've been doing for the past 5 years. We did mess around and do some quick release ladders. You might have seen some videos where the ladder's all the way up, press 2 buttons and it flies down and it's all put back together. We found that they just weren't as reliable as these ladders with the single latches. Like, it will take an extra 2 seconds to put it down, but just reliability. We've been running the same ladder on Christian's car for close to 3 years now. Never failed, it's taken a beating. Been through the desert, Fraser, Morton, sand all through it. Like, it is sweet. So that's the ladder we've chosen to use. Of course, we've got the 15-degree pitch on them with the extra extrusion over the top. So if you've ever climbed a rooftop ladder with no extra steps on it, it's just super spicy on the feet. You just don't want to be, it hurts. So having that on there, you can go up there barefoot, whatever, no problems. Your bloody missus isn't going to whinge at you because her feet hurt. It's all sorted. Packing the tent up, just as easy as it went up. Remove all the rainfly poles, store them back in your bag, and they can go inside the tent. Now that pole before, we saw how that worked. We got our 2 little latches, and then we push that pole down like that, and then I'll hit the unlatch and then fold that pole back. That pole comes down. Now we just sort of sit it on top like that. We haven't forced anything at all. That sits nicely. I'll pull our shoe bags out, place them back inside the tent like so, and then essentially all we have to do is bring this bungee cord up. That helps keep all this canvas sort of tucked away and locked in. Now I'm pretty particular when I do this. I like to keep this folded nicely, just like everything looking clean and not scrunched up. Quite a particular person, so that's how I like to do it, but do it whatever you want. From there, got our strap. Now if you're standing down off the ladder, this is why it's long, so you don't have to climb all the way up to the top where it's unsafe and grab it. But essentially all we're going to be doing, pulling this down. You see the tent practically puts itself away because of that bungee cord. I don't even have the other internal one on. I just left it off to show how easy this tent is. Like, it literally just requires 1 slap on each side. And that's what I was saying before with the mattress. If you have a higher mattress, this canvas is trying to push against it, and it becomes pesky and it's trying to push out the whole time. So having the mattress countersunk into the base like that, like, it's sweet. It goes down so easy, and that's pretty well it. And then there's no reason to ever be forcing it. And then you've got your series of latches, so you're not putting bulk force onto it. 4 latches here. You've got a couple at the front. If you have the awning, obviously that one will be removed, but it's, packs up nicely. Of course, you want to make sure you've got no canvas in between the seal. That is a rubber pinch weld. We don't want to have canvas hanging out, otherwise eventually you'll get dust and you could get water ingress. So very important we check that, make sure we got nothing hanging out. Make sure you always pack your tent up dry if possible. The canvas has a mold resistant element, so if you ever got water on it, it's going to last a few days packed up. But it's always good practice to make sure you dry it out completely. You just need to respect it and it'll respect you back. Like anything, you pack a swag up wet, it's not going to be a good time. But if you pack it down wet, just get home, whatever, unpack the car, let it dry in the sun. If it's raining for a few days, it's fine. Like nothing's going to happen to it for a few days packed up like that. But it is always important, if you have packed it up wet, open it up, pull your mattress out, dry it out, pull your mattress back in and completely make sure it's dry before you store it away for a couple months. You don't need to open them regularly and air them out or anything like that. It is always good though, like if you have a big storm, it's humid, you're up north, like yeah, cool, just in case you might have missed something packing it up, open it up, inspect it, whatnot, and then put it back down. But other than that, make sure it's dry and you'll have no issues whatsoever. The mounting kit is a series of bolts here, and these are an extruded plate. The bolts slide into the plate like this. These are quite a long bolt, around 85 mil. We made them longer because you can always cut them. You can't add onto a bolt, of course, so we make them longer, and then if you ever have to cut them, then that's easy. If you do cut them, they're going to be against your wagon roof or something. Grab a nut that doesn't have a nylon in it and wind it all the way up. Pro tip. Then cut your bolt, and then wind the bolt back over it. That way you are reseating the thread. So if you do cut it and grind it, shave the edges, it is sometimes a bit tricky to try and get the bolt back on, especially when you're at full extension under your car trying to get it under. So pro tip, put that nut over the top, cut it, wind it back over. If that makes absolutely no sense, well then reach out, we'll explain it in further detail. Now, 14 mil head, these are a bit hard to come by in Oz, so don't stress if you need a longer bolt, just get one with a 13 mil head, very easily accessible from Bunnings. With the 13 mil head, it may spin in this plate, but that's not a worry. Just get a nut that doesn't have a nylon in it, tighten that all the way up with your spanner, and then the bolt will not rotate. Then put the nylock over the top. That's if you need a longer bolt. From there, we've got our mounting tracks on the bottom. Now these are dual purpose. They also have a nut on, so it's like a double extrusion. There's a nut in the top which mounts to the honeycomb base. Then these slide in like so. So you'll have 8 of these in total, and then you'll have these plates. Now they work like that. So you put those on, tighten it up, put your nut and washer underneath. And this is essentially a clamping system to your cross rails or rack. If you're directly mounting the tent through your canopy or something, you'll just be using, I'd say, 6 of these, and you want to go through a horizontal cross section in your canopy and bolt directly through it. But definitely have to use the slide plates. If you use these, you pretty well tighten it until you start to get a little bit of a bend. Once it gets a little bit of a bend, it's really not going anywhere. You don't need to over tighten it. Now these are stainless fixings. So stainless steel, if you put no anti-seize on here, there is a risk that they might bind up. We use stainless fixings because obviously Australian conditions, you're on the beach, here, there, everywhere, so you don't want to get rusty, mild steel fixings and the gal starts to come off eventually, so all stainless steel. But like I said, get some copper anti-seize, it's like 10 bucks from Bunnings. If you don't have any, just put some WD-40 silicone spray, just some sort of lubricant. At a trade show, we actually didn't have anything, so we used sunscreen, believe it or not. Just anything to make sure we're not going to get bound up nuts on there, and if you ever need to pull your tent off, then you don't have to get any power tools out. Like, just get anti-seize on it. It's not a fault with the hardware. It's great hardware. It's got great shearing strength, high tensile. It's just a property of stainless steel and how it is. So use anti-seize and it will never have a problem. So the tent, the mounting rails are recessed 150 mil in. The reason they're 150 mil in is so that we can't actually mount the tent further apart than 1600. If we bring them all the way out, people are going to push the limits. We've engineered these tents and tested the limits, done all the tests. So 1600 center to center, that's the furthest apart you want to mount your two. Like imagine this was your crossbar, you don't want to be any more than 1600 apart. The closest you can go together is 850. Now, if you are at 850, you need to make sure you don't have more than 500 mil unsupported from your crossbar. So say this is your front crossbar and the other one is 850 apart. You don't want to have this section with no support for more than 500 mil. Now, I'm not talking on a rack between each slat. That's fine. We can have up to 1600 unsupported in the middle, which is what we discussed before. But past the rack, we don't want any more than 500 mil. So this is your car, this is your tent. We'll do a quick example. We don't want to have any more than 500 mil unsupported over the car. Now, if you do have more than 500 mil over the car unsupported, you'd easily just add like a roof rack or a roof bar or something like that. Now, if you need any more advice on fitting, that is what we are here for. Some email chains will be like 97 long, so don't be afraid to reach out to the team. We can go through everything step by step, send your photos in. If you're like, hey, this is my rack I've chosen, I like it, how's it gonna look? Chances are we've already done that setup, fitted to it, and we have a solution. We've got the volume, we've got the evidence, we've done all the fitments, all the different scenarios. So send through what you have. Don't be worried about how, trying to annoy us or anything like that. All good, that's what we're here for. Happy to help, love helping. So send it through, we'll make sure that you get your tent on and you're gonna be all dialed in and happy with the result. Last thing I mentioned, that was a subject change and a half, but rubber thing, I'm just holding it and I'm like, dude, I don't want to forget it. So rubber thing goes in here. So they're like a nice like 3D printed rubber thing that goes in the end, and that just makes sure we don't get dust and dirt and everything up the rails. So that's the last little bit on mounting. If you have mounted the awning to the tent, you'll be going, oh my God, how do I put this pole in? It's not gonna work. All good, we have a solution for you and it's in this bag. So you will get 3 riser plates, and what they are is a plate that relocates this spring steel 105 mil above the tent, which is just enough that it goes over the awning. So awning goes on the side, you're not gonna get these in, and chances are you're not gonna get this back one in or the one over that. You might get the far one in, but we'll just give you 3 anyway. So you buy our awning, we'll give you 3 of these riser plates. If you have a different awning, just hit us up. We sell them separately, all good. We'll include them with your tent and post them out to you if you've already got it. So the way they work is, it's pretty much just a pole receiver relocation plate. Yeah, this one, it goes wherever in your glove box as a spare, whatever. This is a inject molded, like 3D sort of printed deal, plastic. So it's super tough. That gets moved up like that. The reason why it's not metal is because if we do metal, then you have to put a hole in the back for it to go through, and then there's a chance you could hit your tent. So that is like 3D molded, and that sits in there. They won't flog out if you push them in all the way. You need to make sure you seat that pole the entire way in, and you're never gonna have a drama with it. Now to fit these, we've got 4 16 mil bolts and a couple of washers that are in a different bag, so I'll go get those. All right, we're back. We're getting pretty far into this video and the day is getting long. We've been interrupted several times. We have a very busy showroom, but we are getting there, team. We are nearly done. So, right, 16 mil bolts. These are the ones I said don't put in your solar panel or you'll have a solar panel delete very quickly. So 16 mil bolts, these are for this, and 3 plates with 2 packers. Now, we don't want to bolt this directly to the tent because the seal will come down and it will like blow it out. So we've got these 2 packers that go on the back like that. So 2 packers, put our 16 mil bolts through and then bolt it to the tent. This is also directional. You'll see that the pole goes in on that angle. So you want to bolt that the right way around. So 16 mil bolt in there. Nylock at the back, tighten that up. Make sure we've got our packers on and connect that to the tent. Last step, once that's connected back in the same spot, because we have moved our pole receiver 105 millimeters up, this pole is now too long. And when it's too long, it is not a big deal, but your rain flight will sit like this and it just doesn't look very nice, could collect water and stuff like that. So what we need to do, very simple. Now, I believe you guys have purchased a rooftop tent, not a laptop, so you are a resourceful bunch, I believe. So someone you know or you will have access to a grinder or something similar to cut this pole. So all we have to do above the V is cut this pole at the right length. Now, if you're local and you want us to cut them for you, all good, swing around, I'll cut them, easy, sweet as. If not, you're in a state, you know, you'll know a tradie somewhere. Just like literally just have to cut that, and that'll make this the exact same length as it should be, and all your rain fly is going to sit perfectly. All right, that is a wrap on the new X Plus or Final Boss, whatever you want to call it. This is the tent, guys. Like, honestly, 5 years of making tents and R&D and everything, I feel like it's come down to this moment, this tent. It's everything you've ever wanted. It's the final tent you need. It ticks every box: awning, bedding, extra room, better canvas, blackout, comfy mattress. Like, literally, it does everything. There's not much more you'd want in a tent. Obviously, it is at the top of the price range. You don't have to start here, guys. Like, we start at $31.90 and go all the way up to $44.90. So we've got something for every car, every setup, every budget, every use. Now, as always, any questions, reach out to us. Very responsive. We answer 7 days a week. I don't have a life. No. So yeah, let us know if you need help fitting anything. We are here to help. We love it. So thanks again for the support. Thank you for watching. I know it was a long one, and yeah, see you around.